Well, I've got some things to show you over in the tomato patch, so come on over here. You've probably been harvesting tomatoes for a couple weeks now. You're probably finding some good ones and maybe some not so good ones in your patch. Let's talk about that a little bit. These right here look just beautiful, just ready for slicing, look like they're in good shape, except when you turn them over, they're right down near the ground, and I think this was either feeding from a bird or from a turtle, I'm not sure. Of course, you can slice off that part. It's healed over just fine and shouldn't be harmful to eat it. Now this tomato right here has a condition that we call Buckeye Rot. Some people call it gray wall. We don't know what causes it. There's not anything you can spray for it. We call it a physiological disease. It could be due to a nutrient imbalance or water. We're not sure, but it seems like a certain percentage of tomatoes end up with this disease every year, and those you usually have to throw away. Now if you have some that are looking just perfect and have not reached the red ripe stage and you're worried about bird damage or squirrels carrying them off, you can harvest them early. This one right here is green, it's in good condition, and it's just tinged with red, and that's what we call the breaker stage. And if a tomato is at that stage, you can pick it and it will ripen up to get just as red as these two right here. You need to store it either in a shady place or indoors, preferably between 70 and 80 degrees, away from sunlight. Don't put your tomatoes on a windowsill. That's the worst place in the world to try to ripen them. Tomatoes need to ripen from the inside out, not from the outside in. So store them someplace shaded. Now, in this planting here, our tomatoes just have an incredible amount of foliage on them. And your tomatoes may be looking that way too. In fact, our extension offices have been getting many calls from gardeners who call and ask why their tomatoes have so many leaves on them this year and not much fruit. We're not sure the exact reason why. It could be because we had such a cool rainy spell earlier this season. We've had a fairly good amount of rainfall in general this year. I don't think everybody overdid on nitrogen in their garden, so I don't think that's the reason. But as you can see, our tomato plants have heavy foliage cover. Fortunately, we haven't had any sunburn on our tomatoes yet because they are so heavily shaded. However, this can keep them from ripening up as much as you'd like them to. If you want your tomatoes to have a little more sunlight, it doesn't hurt to prune them right now. And the way to do that is just to get in here and remove any suckers that you see down in the vine growth. And this should have been started early on in the season, but it's not too late to do some pruning. Now, as you take some suckers out, there's one right here, remember that you can root those. And let's find a little better one that you can just snap off. You can stick them in water. Remember, now's the time to be rejuvenating your planting of tomatoes in order to have some for fall. Remember, we found last year that if you'll take a few suckers, root those in water, and they need to be anywhere from 8 to 12 inches long, and then plant those out fresh in the garden in late July, early August, you'll have a good fall crop that will be pretty free of spider mites and be rejuvenated, not have as many diseases as the ones you're trying to maintain all summer long. So remember to do that. And one other condition that we're getting a lot of calls on is tomato leaf roll. And that's usually due to excess water in the soil. It's a physiologic disease. It is not anything you need to spray for. It is not harmful to the tomato plant. The tomato leaves just tend to roll up now and then. It's not anything to worry about. Now, you should, though, be checking now for tomato pinworm. And Dr. Ken Pinkston over in the entomology department tells us that tomato pinworm damage starts out as a leaf roll, but as you open it up, you'll see leaf miner damage in there. And what that means is it looks like the leaf has been mined or tunneled, and you'll see little trails in there. And that's the early stages of tomato pinworm damage. Further on in the tomato pinworm's life cycle, it tunnels in to the stem end of tomatoes. And this is a tiny purple worm. When full grown, it's only 1/4 inch long, but it can tunnel down into the stem end and root around right around the core of the tomato and ruin a tomato fruit. It won't be able to be salvaged. Now, the control for that is to start checking now for it. Check your foliage to check for the mined leaves and the rolled up matted leaves, and then start treating your plants with Bacillus thuringiensis every 3 to 5 days. The reason that we recommend BT is that you're harvesting tomatoes right now, and you will be all summer. So you don't want to use an insecticide that has a long period of time to wait between spraying and harvest. With Bacillus thuringiensis, you can spray it and harvest it within the same day, so there's no problem there. That comes in many, many trade names such as dipel or attack or thuricide. All of them, you need to look close up for the name Bacillus thuringiensis, and that is the biological control for all caterpillars, very, very effective on tomatoes. So you might want to try that again every 3 to 5 days for pinworm control. Well, good luck with your tomatoes. I hope they continue to have as healthy a foliage as this on through the summer.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.